Superman is one of the most popular and beloved superheroes in pop culture history. Love him or hate him, his mainstream influence is undeniable. And you can trace it in many ways. Cartoonists, comic writers, and film producers recreate and repackage his image all the time. However, sometimes they overdo it, to the point where the original character gets lost in the new version. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 bizarre alternate versions of Superman you won't believe exist. #25. Centaur Superman. Whom Gods Destroy is a 1996 4-issue comic book miniseries, a true 90s classic. The Uncanny X-Men's father, Chris Claremont, had the crazy but brilliant idea to make superheroes with Greek mythology and World War II. This is how we ended up with the very first half-man, half-horse superhero. Centaur Superman fights against the Nazis in an Axis-dominated Europe. But just wait, it gets even better. In Whom Gods Destroy, Lois Lane becomes a Wonder Woman, just because Zeus decided so. 24. Shogun of Steel. In this Oriental version of the original story, you get what you probably guessed by now. The Japanese version of the superhero, who is also a shogun, by the way, in case you still wonder how or why, the answer is simple, really. Kal-El's spaceship landed in ancient Japan instead of Smallville, Kansas. As for the painful difference in time period, trust me, I asked the same question. 23. Duper Man. Duper Man, as the awfully ridiculous name suggests, is a spoof of Superman. Duper Man appears in the parody comic strip Mad Magazine number 4, having the same abilities of the original superhero. But, and there is a but here, he combines his superpowers with a weird sense of humor and attitude. If you're looking for a good laugh, then you'll definitely appreciate this piece of satirical art. 22. Lionel Jr. Luthor. In this story, Superman is found by Lionel Luthor, Lex's daddy. He's raised as Lionel Jr. alongside Lex, who's technically Superman's brother. However, the comic stays true to the original in some ways. When Lex finds out his brother's secret, he shows him some true brotherly love by killing him the following year. 21. Amish Superman. In this limited but classic 90s series titled JLA The Nail, Jonathan and Martha Kent's pickup truck gets a flat tire caused by a nail. This prevents them from finding baby Kal-El's spaceship. This little detail changes history as we know it. For example, Metropolis is a much uglier and unsafe place without Superman. Oh yeah, did I mention that Superman was adopted by an Amish family and grows up as one too? 20. Superman of the 30th century. This Superman comes from the future and is the distant descendant of the original Superman. His real name is Clark Kent T5477, and he's a reporter for the Daily Interplanetary News. DIN is located in, you guessed it, Metropolis. Some things never change after all. A big difference between this Superman and his ancestor is that he is immune to kryptonite. However, he is vulnerable to seawater due to radioactive fallout that settled into the oceans of various planets after a nuclear war. 19. Tarzan Superman. Forget all you know about Tarzan and Superman. In Sons of the Jungle, you will be introduced to the weirdest comic story there is. Instead of landing in Kansas, the alien baby ends up in the jungle. He's raised by gorillas, while the real Tarzan is never lost by his clumsy parents and grows up to be a classy Englishman named Lord Greystoke. It's quite a fun story if you like twisted endings and alternative tales. 18. The Gay Superman. While visually distinct and with a different name, Apollo is cast in the mold of the original Superman archetype. A very unusual one, to be honest. Apollo was genetically enhanced to be a solar-powered defender and a member of the superhero team, The Authority. He's openly gay and is married to his superhero partner, Midnighter. Guess what? Midnighter is a version of Batman in this alternative universe. 17. The Black Superman, who is also a president. Calvin Ellis, aka the Black Superman, first appeared in Final Crisis number 7 and was inspired by Barack Obama. He's an African-American version of Superman who's also the President of the United States. The first black president in the history of the United States, for that matter.
16.
High Chancellor Superman. In the video game Injustice: Gods Among Us, Superman has conquered the planet. However, Metropolis has been destroyed and Lois Lane is dead. As a result of this tragedy, Superman's determined to wipe out crime for good. Ironically, he's the one who becomes a mass murderer. In order to eliminate crime on Earth, he kills anyone in his path who will try to stop him.
15.
Overman. Did you know there's a Nazi version of Superman? You know, an Aryan blonde with a swastika replacing the S symbol? No? Yeah, we didn't either, before we researched this topic. Apparently on Earth 10, one of the many DC multiverses, the Nazi Party is boss. It even has its own version of Superman named Overman. As you understand, this Superman supports the Nazi ideology of genetic purity. He's the kind of hero that was created on human suffering. Definitely a Nazi. No joke.
14.
Zod, Superman. When you think that nothing can shock you anymore in the world of superheroes, there's always a writer who will prove you wrong. In the world of JSA The Liberty Files, Superman is a dude named Zod. Yep, he has the same name as Superman's enemy in Man of Steel. He's not your traditional Superman, but a total sociopath banished to the Phantom Zone. Why did he get banished, you may wonder? Well, he created a deadly synthetic plague when he was only 11 years old. What a cool kid, huh? Ugh.
13.
Air Superman. This rare limited edition of Superman came out in October 2007. It takes place on Earth 8 and features a German Superman. Air Superman serves in the Monarch's army. He's not a Nazi or anything of that nature, but just a German superhero with a wild accent. What's even wilder? He loses his powers at some point and gets impaled to death. Probably on those old German helmets from World War I.
12.
Ultraman. Earth 3 is a fictional alternate universe in the DC Comics universe. It first appeared in Justice League of America number 29 back in 1964. In this alternate comic reality, Superman is a villain and a leading member of the crime syndicate of America. As you may know, this Superman doesn't save the world. Instead, he tries to ruin it. What's even worse about this story? Lex Luthor, of all people, is supposed to be the good guy and the only surviving superhero.
11.
Bruce Wayne, Superman. You're probably very confused right now, seeing the name Bruce Wayne, looking at the photo of Batman, while at the same time, I try to convince you that what you see is Superman. However, I'm kidding you not. In Superman Speeding Bullets, the orphan Kal-El is adopted by Thomas and Martha Wayne. They name him Bruce instead of Clark, and you can imagine how the rest of the story goes.
10.
All-Star Superman. All-Star Superman is a Superman comic maxi series consisting of 12 issues. It ran from November 2005 to October 2008 and literally won every major award there is. In this amazing but extremely depressing story, Superman is subjected to a slow cellular death through intense solar radiation. Without much time left, he tries to complete his very own bucket list.
9.
Super Soldier. We've seen quite a few things in superhero worlds. However, the combination of two superheroes in one is quite shocking, even for the most open-minded superfans. Super Soldier is the amalgamated version of Superman and Captain America. In this story, Clark Kent volunteers to become a super soldier during World War II. Scientists make him a human experiment by using a combination of an enhancement serum and cells taken from an alien spacecraft. Add in the mix of a supercharge of solar energy, and you're ready to go. Crazy stuff, right? I love the amalgamation comics, those are good.
8.
Kingdom Come Superman. This story takes place in the distant future, where we meet a depressed Clark Kent. He's retired both as a professional and as a superhero after the murder of Lois Lane, who he failed to save. Of course, in the name of his love for mankind, he finally makes a heroic comeback. And as you've probably guessed by now, he ruins the party for all the bad guys worldwide.
7.
Superman Red, Superman Blue. Superman splits into two different but romantic men in this alternate tale from the early 60s. One of them marries Lois Lane, and the other, Lana Lang. They both live happily ever after. In this contemporary story with an alternative and weird plot, Superman develops energy-based powers. This happens after he lost his original powers. He then gets a corresponding new costume. He again splits into two different guys, known as Superman Red and Superman Blue.
6.
Superboy Prime. The young Superman in this comic book is more human than ever before. From a great hero, he transforms into an absolute amoral villain once he realizes what kind of amazing powers he possesses. This is definitely one of the deepest Superman stories ever. It hides great underlying political and social messages about what human selfishness can do to anyone with power.
5.
Superman True Brit. The title of this one says it all, really. Superman True Brit is a humorous adaptation of Superman in which his spaceship crashed in Weston-super-Mare in England. The British version of Superman has a British accent. He also drinks tea instead of coffee. He loves his full English breakfast and looks like a 1960s British rock star. Plus, he says mate and not dude.
4.
The Mature Superman. This story takes us to Earth 2. Superman is a mature, wiser superhero from a parallel Earth. And when I say mature, I mean old, with white hair and wrinkles. However, Kal-El is still in great shape with a six-pack and all that.
3.
Bizarro. This right here is the Frankenstein version of Superman. Bizarro managed to simultaneously impress and shock the fans at the same time. He's super ugly and lacks of intellect. He doesn't even know how to use his superpowers for anything good or useful. To make a long story short, Bizarro is the definition of the term anti-hero. Not exactly the Superman we know and love.
2.
Superman, Last Son of Earth. In this comic book, Steve Gerber, the story writer, tries to pass many social messages through the narrative. He focuses more on xenophobia and authoritarianism. The plot's truly intelligent and reverses the usual Superman origin. See, in this story, Superman is sent from Earth to Krypton. There, he discovers the Green Lantern power ring, which gives him all the superpowers he has on Earth as a Kryptonian.
1.
Superman, Red Sun. This is arguably the greatest alternative version ever written about Superman. In this superb story, Superman lands in the Ukraine, not in Kansas. He's raised as a proud Soviet who was taught to love and serve the communist principles of the Soviet Union. However, he's still the same compassionate, fair, courageous, and fearless superhero who loves humanity more than anything. He still obeys his super hearing and responds to every call for help. His favorite habit remains saving lives. So, which Superman is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below, or tweet your answer to us at List25. Do you have a favorite Superman?
The one where he's Spider-Man.
Oh, I love that one. Actually, in that amalgamation one that I was talking about, Spider-Man and Superboy combined. So I think you have Spider-Boy? I don't think it's Super Spider, I think it's Spider-Boy.
Danny Phantom.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
And I'm not I don't like DC that much, so regular Superman. But Superman was created by Jews, so you're welcome.
Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button on the bottom right and the notification bell so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these videos here or just head to our website at list25.com.